Morning. I'm taking this opportunity, to have a little bit of downtime before I take a shower. I'm all soppy wet. Today was the day that I have been running for the last week, with trepidation. Don't want to hurt this, don't want to hurt that. And it seems to be going okay. I do have some pain afterwards, but I also started doing an elliptical. Not long, maybe I'm up to 10 minutes, which really kicked my butt. Started at 5 and then skipped a couple days, went to 7, and then got to 10. So I'm just taking it easy. Yesterday I walked. I had on another video about how when I was walking, two dogs a month ago maybe, came running out at me, scared the crap out of me. I had this encounter with the owner where I yelled at him because he was laughing at my fear, and then I refused to walk that path anymore, and that really negatively impacted my walk, because on a bright day the sun just beats down on the sidewalk across the road, and it's hard to walk that whole entire path without crossing the road and walking down the side where he and his dogs were. Also, on Mondays are garbage day, and they have their garbage out on my side of the road. Now, this side of the road goes 3.5 miles. So walking 3.5 miles on a day when the garbage is out and the sun is shining on the garbage is so distasteful. They put it out the night before and they're waiting for the garbage men to come pick it up, and it's just dreadful. So it had really negatively impacted my walk. And then I realized that, it only took me a short time to figure out that my reaction was way over the top, yelling at this guy. He was laughing at me, and I yelled back at him, "It's not funny. You need to control your dogs." And then I walked on in a huff, and then the next two people that I saw walking down the road, I warned them that there were two dogs who were off leash in an area that was sheltered between a big truck and a long driveway, so you couldn't see them before you got there. And it really got my heart going, and I have anxiety issues anyway. So anyway, I talked to his neighbor who lives in the house. That guy didn't even live in that house, and I told him, it's really not usually in me to yell at people, and I was frightened. I was frightened for my dog. I was frightened for myself, and I apologized for having yelled at this guy. But I hadn't really walked that walk in a long time. Yesterday, I did it on my side of the sidewalk, and I was, again, with trepidation going out to do this walk. And I got almost to where those houses would be, almost to the point where I would have, in my normal walk, crossed the road and gone to that side. I don't do it before this point because there's no sidewalk on that side for about 1.5 miles. So I'm walking down the road, and I always pull my dog off to the side of the sidewalk and either walk her on the grass or make her sit when somebody's coming by. If it's somebody that has a dog, I make her sit. If it's just somebody who's walking or running, I pull way over to the side and we pass and give them the sidewalk to be on. So this was a walker, and I pulled off onto the side, and Coco and I just kept walking. The guy stopped me, and he said he didn't know if I would remember him, but he was the one with the two dogs. And he said that he knew that I had talked to his neighbor, and he's been wanting to talk to me for weeks. He said that he would watch out his window and wait for me to walk by so that he could come out and apologize. And he said that it was inappropriate for him to have laughed, that he realized that I had been genuinely frightened, and that he felt bad that I hadn't felt comfortable to walk on that side. So we talked for a while. He tried to pet Coco, and she just completely jumped away from him, tail tucked, and ran behind my legs. And he said that then he could realize why I had been so nervous. And I told him, I'm just afraid of big dogs. I've realized from this experience that I'm really afraid of big dogs that I don't know. Not if they're a Labrador, not if they're a Golden Retriever, but if it's a standard poodle, German Shepherd, Bulldog, anything like that, Pit Bull, Rottweiler, I'm crossing the road to avoid them. It's not just my dog that's afraid, it's me, even though I'm a dog person. And, I just am. So we had a nice little chat, and I did feel okay enough to cross the road and do my normal walk on Sunday. And then coming back, I saw him again. I hadn't gone quite as far as I used to go because I'm really just not doing that long walk anymore. I realized I was taking a lot of chances. There are a lot of strange people on my walk path. One guy of Middle Eastern descent, he told me where he was from, the first time I stopped and made the dog sit, and I thought he was going to walk by, and he just engaged me in conversation. And he told me during that walk that, basically he was very lonely, separated from his wife, and he was looking, I'm putting this in bad words, he was looking for somebody to have sex with. Basically that's it. In a nutshell, he didn't say, basically that's it. He's looking for a girlfriend. The second time, I just, it was weeks and weeks later, he walked by, I waved. I used to wave to everybody when I walk. I no longer wave. I no longer make eye contact. Sometimes if it's a guy walking along alone, I will just cross the road. I think I'm more friendly with the dogs now than I am with the males. Anyway, I waved, he waved back, he engaged me in conversation again, and this time he was much more graphic and invited me to his house for drinks and, if anything happens, it happens, that kind of thing. I'm just so not up for that. I'm not a cheater. I've been married for 19 years. I love my husband, and I was not as offended as I was just weirded out by this, because it doesn't ever happen to me. For the last 3 decades, I was either overweight or morbidly obese, and nobody other than my husband ever gave me a second look. And frankly, there was a long time when my husband didn't either. There was a long time where, from the time we had our second anniversary, and we ended up in marriage counseling after our second child, and we had one episode of marital counseling where the counselor said to him, "Tell us what you really think." And he said that physically, I reminded him of his mother. And his mother is like 4'8" and like 400 pounds. And I had just had a child. This baby is crawling around on the carpet in front of us. I had another one that was 2 years old. And I called him a nasty name and left the counseling office. And, oh, golly, I got so many issues because there were times in our lives as a married couple, once where he told me he didn't think that for me going braless was a good look anymore. And there was another time where he said to my daughter, who was 9 at the time, she's 12 now, he caught her eating in the middle of the night, and he said to her, "If you keep eating in the middle of the night, you're going to end up weighing 400 pounds like your mother." And that was, finally the thing that got me to try to lose weight on my own, and then failing that, went for bariatric surgery. Not because I thought that I wanted to be a better, more attractive wife for him, but just because I was so fucking pissed off about it. So, here I am. And sometimes the negative things that people say cause us to make positive changes in our life. But I can still tell you that my heart is not the same, having been wounded that way. And there are so many nice things that he has said about me since then and before that and during that time. But I'll tell you, I can hardly recall any of them. But those negative things, I remember the place, I remember the time, I remember what I was feeling, I remember. It tears me up. So, these episodes where I've been followed on my walk by men, has happened in my neighborhood. I have this one guy that I think has got like a lower level of mental functioning or something. I don't know. Yeah, I have 2 kids with autism, but I don't know what it is with this person. But when I go for my walk on a path that I really liked at a time of day that I really was comfortable with weather-wise, not too hot, not too cold, and I would see this guy from time to time walking his path, then after a while he took to, on his way, what would be on his way home, he took to turning around and following me on my walk. So it's like every path that I have taken has been ruined for me by either people who keep their dogs loose or crazy weird freaking men. And I'm probably going to transition to doing more of a gym workout on machines, and I hate that, because I just don't feel like I get as good of a workout. Boy, this has made me so tense talking about this. But anyway, so I ran 2.25 miles today and walked the rest, and I feel done in. So today, before I went for a walk, I brought my easels and stuff. There, my big French easel that my daughter got for me, and my thinner and everything up here. And I'm going to paint on that big canvas that my husband got me for Christmas that I've been afraid to paint on, because I finally realized that, I have like 80 some canvases here that I've painted on, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And that doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter that I can't sell them. It doesn't matter that they're taking up real estate in my very small house. All that matters is right now I want to put some paint on that canvas. And I don't really care if it ends up being something that I feel like throwing away afterwards. I just want to paint. I don't paint to sell paintings. I paint to get this out of my chest. It's my emotional Xanax. So that's what I'm going to do. And then I have a job interview for a job that I don't think I can afford to work. It's $7.25 an hour. I think my time is more valuable than that here at home. But, I'm still going to go to the interview. I don't know what I want to do for the rest of my life, but having something good on a resume might not be a bad start, and it might fill up some of my time. I'm out of here.